Welcome to EQing Part 2. In the first part, we talked about why you need to know the harmonic series. In doing so, you can actually target what you're doing with your EQ. But now we're going to talk about what the harmonic series is. And I'm going to show you the intervals that make up the harmonic series, why those are the intervals, and then actually show you this EQ in real time. So watch this all the way through. So first, we just have a tonic, and we'll call this C1. From there, we go up an octave, so now we have C2. From there, we go up a perfect fifth, and now we have G2. By the way, this tonic could be anything. It could be like G4 if you wanted it to be. Anyway, from there, we go up a perfect fourth, which now we're back to C3. G to C is perfect fourth. Then we go up a major third, so now we're at E3, followed by a minor third, which puts us to G3. And then at this point, we go from G3 to B flat 3, but this is actually like a little less than a minor third. I think they call it like a subminor third, but it's like, instead of a full tone, you start getting into these things called cents. But basically, this isn't really quite a B flat 3. It's in between. It's a little lower than what we would consider a B flat. Anyway, then you go to C4, D4, E5, and same thing. These become less like actual tones. Anyway, and if that confused you, just hold on. Because in reality, this is how I want you to look at it. Let's say the bottom part here is like your semitones. These are all half steps, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this would represent a full octave. From this C to this next C, like we would literally, it's all this. Boop. And then from C to G, right? This would be, I think it's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. Bam. And then G to C, you have 5 because it's a perfect fourth. So it goes here. And then C to E is 4 because it's a major third. And then we have 3 because it's a minor third. Now this E to G, right, this is a minor third. It's like a true minor third. But as you can see, we're getting exponentially smaller intervals. But so this isn't quite this G to B flat isn't a minor second, but it's also not a full, or major second, but it's also not a full minor third. So it's what we call a subminor third. And, each of these intervals just gets a little tinier and tinier. So what you get is this like exponential curve. There, a little further back. That's a bad line. Boo. It's so hard to draw and like videotape at the same time. You get the idea. So how are these made? So we know that the octave to the tonic, the octave reverberates, whatever it is, twice as fast as a tonic. So if you had a wave like this, going on either side, right? So just imagine like this is going back and forth. Boo, 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 boo. Alternates. This would be the tonic. The octave, because it goes twice as fast, would look like this. There you go, that's the octave. And if you notice in the tonic, we have one section here, right? But in the octave, we have 2 because it's pinched here in the middle. So your octave to tonic ratio is 2 to 1. It's a 2 to 1 ratio. Now, if we wanted to do this with fifths, because, right, that's the third one, we would split this into 3. And so you'd get something that looks, I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to draw this. Something like that. Actually, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Look at that. I'm so talented. So here, you get a 3 to 1 relationship with your perfect fifth to this tonic relationship. And let me make clear, like this isn't just like C to the next G. This could be C to like a higher G. And we'll get into that in a second. So check this out. So let's say we're making C1 our fundamental, our tonic. C1 resonates at 32.7 hertz. G2 goes at 98 hertz, which is about 3 times as much as C. And check it out, you have that 3 to 1 relationship. Let's try another one. A4 is at 440 hertz. If you multiply that times 3, you get E6, which is 1,318.51 hertz, which is about 3 times as much as your fundamental. And again, E is the fifth of A, G is the fifth of C. And the same thing works with thirds and seconds and all sorts of stuff as it goes up this harmonic series. And as a quick aside, if you've ever wondered, like, why do octaves just sound more stable, and why do fifths sound still pretty stable but not as much as an octave, and fourths sound pretty stable but not as much as a fifth, there's a correlation, right? Unity, tonic, is the most stable. It's the same thing. Then your octave, then your fifth, then your fourth, and all the way up. Not really what we're talking about in this video, but a pretty cool aside if you ever wondered why that is. It's the harmonic series, because every time you play a note, you're playing harmonics, which are also other frequencies, other notes built within it. And if you're in this video of this song, you're probably wondering, like, dude, what does this have anything to do with EQ? I'm going to play the note C on guitar, and it may sound or look something like this on an EQ graph. You have your fundamental, which is C, and then you have like a lot of these harmonics playing, right? This little G peak here, C, whatever. And then all this extra stuff, which may be the plucking of the string, and maybe some like background noise, things like that. Okay, so this is a guitar, but what about a violin? Still playing C. You can see that there's like a different ratio of these overtones, these harmonic series within this instrument. And you still have like the noise, but in a different ratio and then the guitar. And these overtones dip here. But on top of like the actual shape, like the attack and release, the ratio and how much of these overtones exist within each of these sounds is the reason why a C on a guitar sounds different than a C on a violin. So now the conversation is not just like, oh, I want to make the violin brighter. Well, are you making it brighter? Or are you pulling out scratchiness as well? Can you find within this section even more of those overtones to pull out without adding to the scratchiness of the sound? If you're trying to reel in the low end of the guitar, are you removing maybe some excess energy? Are you removing some excess energy? Or by not knowing the harmonics of the guitar, are you completely slashing out a really important part of its sound? Stay tuned, and I will actually EQ something so you can hear the difference between when you know what you're EQing versus what you're not EQing.